channel. My name is Chidinma and I'm a second-year student at DePaul University. I'm studying public health and today I'm going to be giving you guys my top tips for the incoming class of 27. If you see me looking at my laptop, it is because I wrote my notes on there. Alright, so first I'm going to tell you guys how to pick housing at your new school. Most of the time, college students are going to live on campus. However, it is normalized now to be a commuter student, but that just wasn't my case. At DePaul, you get to pick where you want to live, and you can also pick who you want to live with. After I got admitted and I started showing interest in going to the school, I went on the housing portal and I checked out all of the different floor plans for the different buildings on campus. I also tried to watch YouTube videos about the different dorms on campus, but there aren't that many DePaul YouTubers, so I wasn't really able to see that. When it comes to picking roommates, you need to be careful. So I personally had a good roommate story. I forgot to pick my roommate, essentially. I was just really busy with school, like end of senior year of high school, and I completely forgot, so I didn't get to pick my roommate. But DePaul did have like these little questionnaires for admitted students, and they would make profiles on themselves and basically talk about their habits. So like whether they go to bed early or late, whether they wake up early or late, whether they like to make things super clean or they don't really care. I definitely filled one of those out, and I think that is why I was able to still get a good roommate, even though I didn't personally pick mine, because they just matched our questionnaires and saw that we would be compatible, and we were. When I first heard of my roommate, I was like, because she is from South Dakota, and prior to coming here to school in the Midwest, I had never met somebody from a Midwestern state, and I didn't even know that there were that many people in South Dakota, so I was like, what the hell are you doing here? And I was a little scared because I was like, I don't know what the people there are like are they like really hickish or anything like that? Because I went to school in the South and those girls were a piece of work, but my roommate ended up being great and we honestly hung out the entire year. As I said, I didn't have any bad experiences personally, but I had friends last year that did have bad experiences and the roommates were really rude or really dirty. If you don't have a good relationship with your roommate, you will have a miserable time at college, because your room, your apartment, anything like that, that's supposed to be your safe space. So if you can't even be comfortable in there because you are not comfortable with the person that you're living, you are gonna have a bad year. Not trying to scare anybody though, just saying. Next, I wanna talk about how to pick a major. When I was applying to colleges 2.5 years ago, I already knew what my major was going to be. I applied as either health sciences or film at all of my schools. I know, two completely different things, but I was just, yeah, that's what I applied as. I've clearly stuck with health sciences and now I'm in public health, so we know which major won, but I do want to go back into film maybe later on, maybe add it as a minor, I'm not sure yet. I already knew what I wanted to study then, like junior year of high school, but I know a lot of people don't know, and they come to college undecided, and they remain undecided for some semesters. I will say that most colleges will make you pick your major around junior year, because hypothetically speaking, you'd be done taking all of your general education courses at that time. But if you don't want to pick your major that late in the game and you want to figure it out now, I think that's also a perfect time to do so. Almost every single college in this country is going to have a website for academics specifically. So you want to go onto that website and just look at every single major that they have. That's what I would do my junior and senior years of high school. I would just look at all the different majors. I would look at the course map. I would look at the faculty and staff. I would look at the course descriptions too, just to see what kind of classes I would be having to take. And that's kind of how I specified what I wanted to study as health sciences and not neuroscience or bio. You can also think about your career goals. So if you are somebody that definitely wants to be making some big money, then you would most likely look at a STEM major, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. If you really feel like you have it in you to go to med school, then you would pick a science major like bio or pre-med. I think we're gonna take this off because if not, I'm gonna pass out. I try to be cute with it, but like I can't. Now I want to segue into how to pick your classes. Once you know your major, you can better pick your classes for your first semester of college. I don't know how other schools do it, but at DePaul, I had a phone call with one of the professors like I want to say July 2021, so 2 months before school started, and we picked my first quarter classes. But after that, I've picked my classes on my own every single time. I think for second quarter freshman year, I did meet with my academic advisor and I was like, what should I take? And she helped me with that, but after that, I have not done it ever since. Because you're gonna soon find out as a college student that your academic advisors are not very reliable, which kind of makes sense if you go to a really big school. I mean, DePaul has 16,000 undergraduate students. Hello guys, I don't know how well you guys can hear me, but right now I'm at Whole Foods. I wanted to come here though and show you guys the process of picking classes. I've actually already picked my classes for my first quarter of junior year, so I already know what I'm going to take, but I still want to show you guys basically my process of doing so. I want to show you guys how I usually pick my courses each quarter. First thing that I do is go to my degree progress report, and that just shows me all the classes that I've already taken alongside the credits, and then the classes and credits I need to fulfill next. I like it because it's split into general education courses and then major courses. Then I go to my course card and I select the upcoming quarter, and then I start looking for classes based off of what my progress report tells me I need to take. As I said, I've already picked my classes for the fall, but I do want to just show you guys real quick what I would usually do. So the class that I'm going to demo with is Health 335, which is Community Health Assessment. When picking classes, I will usually look at the times offered in that course. So I see that this course is Wednesdays 6 to 7:30 p.m. I also like to read the course description just to see what it's about because I'm really interested in this topic. Then I assess the meeting information and I like to see the class details. I want to see if any books are required and where the class meets during the week. As you can see, this class is a hybrid class, so it's half online, half in person, and that works pretty well for me. The class capacity is also 30 and there's still some available seats left. For a general education course, I try to make sure that I am filling all of the requirements. Paul likes to trick you and say that an arts course or a literature course would count for that requirement, but it doesn't. So I've learned my lesson and started looking at the enrollment information tab. This next part is so important, y'all. This is Rate My Professor, and it is literally your best friend when it comes to picking a college professor or class. I always trust the ratings here. If you see a professor with a 4.4 rating, they are going to be good. I personally would not pick a professor that has a rating below a 3, especially if they have a lot of ratings, because these college students aren't lying and most of what they say is true, so you really just need to be vigilant. I also want to touch a bit on general education courses. Some schools require freshmen and sophomore to use the first 2 years of their college career, fulfilling those requirements. However, at DePaul, you can start your major right away, so you don't have to dedicate the first 2 years of your college career to taking out some of those courses. Still, I would say that most people at DePaul finish taking their general education courses around the first quarter of their junior year. When it comes to taking gen eds, I always make sure to pick one that I'm really interested in. Even though they're really basic classes like writing or math, I still try to get something that I'm interested in because I cannot imagine sitting for 10 weeks and taking a class I hate. For example, at my school, we do have a philosophy requirement of 2 classes, and second quarter this year, I decided to take one on biomedical ethics. Not only did that course fulfill my philosophical requirement, but it also gave me an insight into different medical issues. We discussed the ethics of abortion, euthanasia, also disabilities, and how those work within the medical field. Overall, the class was really valuable. Alright, so I'm back from work and I am about to make myself something to eat. But I did want to talk about getting opportunities on campus as a freshman and then just jobs as a freshman. I've been working since my freshman year of college, not at the same job, but I've had a job. The summer before I went into school, I worked at Chick-fil-A for like 2-3 months and I saved up a lot of money, and that's basically what sustained me from like September to December. And then after school ended and I went on winter break, I went back to that same job and I just worked a little bit more just to save up some more money. Then I didn't have a job for like 2-3 months after that until I started working at Chick-fil-A again, this time at school. So I was working in Chicago instead of Jersey. My biggest advice to incoming freshmen is to have a job, especially if you know that your parents aren't going to be the ones to help you. Even if your parents are willing to help you, I would say still get one, but this time get one that's like makes more sense due to like your major or anything that you're really interested in. For example, at my school, you can actually work with different professors if they need research assistants or anything like that. That's one of the jobs that I do right now. The good thing about that is that I get paid, and then I also get to put on my resume that I've worked with a professor in environmental health. So it really works well when I'm looking for jobs in the future after college. I also think that campus jobs are just a lot more lenient to college students. Another really important thing to consider as you're going into college is joining clubs and organizations. Not only is this a great way for you to make friends and actually build community on campus, they're also great for your resume. My freshman year, I was heavily committed in the theater group at my school. I was also a senator at my school's residential hall council, and I was a part of a program called 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐞, and that was basically a work study. This year, I'm a mentor for the Cities Project, which is where we go to the south side of Chicago and mentor kids at different schools, and we help them problem solve, unpack trauma, all that type of stuff. I am also a research assistant, as I said, tour guide. Those are really, really important things to put on your resume. For example, me being a part of the city's mentor project shows that I have experience in community outreach and dealing with trauma. Most schools are going to have an involvement fair at the beginning of the school year so that they can introduce students to new clubs and organizations on campus. At my school, the involvement fair is on the quad, and each club and organization is going to organize a booth on the grass, and they're going to entice students to come over and learn more about the organization. But the truth is, if you find one organization that you're really dedicated to and that looks really good on your resume and you stick with it for the 4 years that you're an undergrad, that looks so much better on your resume than just being a part of multiple different organizations and clubs for only 1 year at a time. I quickly want to touch on what made me choose the major that I did, which is, again, public health. As we all know, 3 years ago, the pandemic started, and I was really into public health and disease prevention at that time. I was living in Jersey, so I was always getting those updates from the former governor of New York, 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐞, and then I was also watching Anthony Fauci updates as well. Despite how polarizing that time was based off of vaccines and mask mandates, I was still really interested in how public health officials worked to lower the spread of disease. I was also curious to know why certain groups were more immune to the disease based off of their economic status and their health in those communities. Learning that Black and Brown communities in this country were more at risk for COVID due to their pre-existing conditions and heart diseases and all of that type of stuff just made me want to get to the root of why. And so at that point, I became very interested in disease prevention, and I decided that that was the major that I wanted to primarily focus on. I still don't know what exactly I want to do in the public health realm, but I do know that I want to do something that has to do with helping others and also just making sure that the health of this population becomes better. I really don't want another pandemic to happen. I mean, COVID was already so bad enough, and I just want to prevent that for future generations. I know it's not perfect, but I think that we can learn something new every single day, essentially. So that is why I chose public health as my major. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out what exactly I want to do as a career, but I could really go into any form of public health. Right now, I'm really looking at disease prevention through medicine, so we will see how that goes.